everybody. This is Jan, and we're here tonight for the second part of the review and the training session of the course Magnus Carlsen Free Endgame Lesson. It is by GM Nielsen, GM Sielecki, John Bartholomew, and Grandmaster Magnus Carlsen. I hope you enjoyed yesterday. For me, it was very exciting because I really didn't know what to expect. And it went better than I thought, and I understood also more than I thought. So I would. And we are going into the course right away. And just in case you don't know what Chessable is, again, for all viewers who haven't seen this yet, it's a website where you can take a look through free courses, or you buy courses, and of course it's all chess related, and they have a very nice feature. It's called spaced repetition. So they present you variations. You have to take a look at puzzles, guess the next best move, and if you are very good in chess, you can guess the best move right away. Then Chessable will notice, okay, this doesn't need repetition, so we put that in a month or so. And if you put in a wrong move, it sees, well, that needs some learning, and will present you that position like in the next 3 hours or so. As we stopped yesterday's session, in between, as it was quite long, like 2 hours, it gave me now reviews, 5 positions for reviews, and we'll start right with this. But first we take a look at the course. What is it? It comes up, and I really like to go into the first page of it. Where does it come up? Does it come up here? No, but in the course info. I'm sorry. Okay. So, learn the endgame from the world champion Magnus Carlsen, of course. And it's a full course that you can buy here, but they offer a part of it free in 11 exercises with 20 minutes of video. We saw the video yesterday, we finished it, but if someone in chat says, well, please let us go through the video again, we just take a look. So, yesterday we took a look at how to gain the initiative in equal positions. That was hard for me, but I hope I got that right. The correct way to arrange your major pieces, pawn sacrifices in the endgame. I remember that we opened up a file so the enemy's king cannot reach the promoting square, and that was a real revelation for me because I didn't have that in mind before, so that was really my learning yesterday. Then the right method for creating winning chances, how to use concrete play to transform the pawn structure and create weaknesses in the enemy camp, and when to offer a queen trade. So that basically is in this free endgame lesson. And it's with Magnus Carlsen, so that was nice yesterday to also see him in the video, of course, explaining his moves. And let's go into the review now. So review is starting. And here we first see the leaderboard. Where am I? I'm in position 4,359 because yesterday I answered some questions and got some right. So that is nice, of course. And here are the 5 review positions now. Click on it and they start. First I take a look at the chat, if everything's all right with the stream, so everybody can see what's happening. Yeah, this should be okay, but you cannot see the first rank in full, at least on Twitch not. So let me take a look at YouTube. Yeah, same thing. So I make the board a little smaller. Hold on. chessboard. Here it is. Resize the chessboard, and yeah, so this should work now. Let's take a look again, and yeah, this is better. All right. So we dive right in and see the moves. So this basically is, what do I remember from yesterday? We read it. We will now look at one of the decisive games from the 2013 World Championship match between Vishy Anand and Magnus. White has a pawn weakness on the e-file. It's basically here one unprotected. Well, it's not unprotected. It's protected by the queen, but not connected to a pawn. And one, I guess that's backward pawn. Still need to learn that. And this is not protected at all. No connected pawns and no other piece defending it. So Magnus decides to try and grind out the small edge to something larger. How would you go about doing this? And I remember from yesterday that attack could be nice things. So I play queen to b7, attacking the pawn here. And that was correct. He comes in with the rook. And now what was the next move? It was not taking right away. Was it? No, basically it was the queen first and then taking with the pawn. Yes, correct. Oh no, that's an alternative move. So what was the other one then? Was it to go back with the queen already? I think there was something. Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look if there's someone in chat who has an idea. Nope, no ideas from chat yet. So yesterday, was it queen to c7? Because it was a really quiet move. I think it was. No, again, also good, but not the best move. So, what was it? What's the next best move now? It was not taking, it was not this move. I think it was, yes, it was queen to e7, because queen to e7 doubles up the power on the weak e-file, and already looking at both pawns. Yes, correct. So, no, also not correct. Oh, now that's really strange. b4, 1-6. So let's see what b4 does. b4 attacks the pawn here. We take a look at it, and it's also an alternative move, not the best move. So I'm really out of options. I just did this yesterday, and it's so good that we do the review that Chessable reminds you to just get this into your long-term memory. And by the way, nice meeting you, Vansek, of course. So it was not that move, it was not taking. I think that was all correct. So I don't know, so I take the hint. Last check at the chat, and then I take the hint. Okay, let's take the hint here. All right, let's go. And Titanic Builders, nice seeing you again. I remember you from last time. So we are going to take a look at the hint, and it says it's a queen move, as expected. So now again, what are good moves for the queen? I thought best move here would be e7, but because it gives the double attack on the e-file, but it's not. So obviously d7 is a bad idea, would be taken by the queen. We already tried c7, which was not good. We tried b4 from Wanzig, also not a good idea. So, I'm out of ideas, guys. So, to make this quick, as it's a review, I'll take the hint here. I don't know, and it is queen c6. So another slow waiting move, protecting the d6, so black can take on d4 next. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Taking on d4 now is too early. It would be take, then rook e6, rook d5 is an important resource for white, attacking the b5 pawn. This secures enough play to comfortably draw. That's why we have the slow waiting move, queen c6, before taking on d4. All right. So, yeah, then as we needed to take the hint and the help from Chessable, we need to repeat the correct move, so we have it in our short-term memory, and with the hope it gets into the long-term memory, and also not only doing the move, but also remembering why. So this is a slow waiting move to protect the d6 pawn, and now queen came to f5, and now it's taking time, I think. Yeah, so now we can take d4, and let's see if that is the correct move. Is it, or was it rook e6? What do you guys think? Okay, I think it was taking right away. So let's take. Yes, that was correct. So still, what is black's next move? I think it's a great idea to get control of the 5th rank, attacking the queen, and double attacking, of course, we already have the double attack, but it's just a better position for the rook. So we're doing this. Yes, that's also correct. And let's see what it says here. Okay, so here it was queen b7. Magnus is keeping the tension, not changing the pawn structure just yet. It was too early to grab the pawn, as e takes e4, take, queen e4, rook e4, rook a8, check, king h7, and rook b8. Sees white regain the pawn with no problems at all. So that was too early then. So it was played queen b7 instead. Then rook d1, as we saw. We played queen c6, the slow waiting move. Already went through this. Queen played went to f5. Then we took. Finally, this is a good moment to exchange. Rook takes, and now we see the weak pawns on the e-file. Rook to e5. Now the d6 pawn, d6 here, is not a target, and the 5th rank is also sufficiently under control. In the next exercise we will see how Magnus continued. Alright, so we finished the first review and go straight to the next. Okay, previously we saw Magnus carefully isolate the pawns on the e-file as a weakness. How should we now continue to make progress? I leave you guys a little bit with the position so you can make yourself comfortable with it, because I think maybe you haven't watched part 1 where we already went through this yesterday. Hey, Juritsa's there. Hi. Nice seeing you. right. So yeah, we start here. So how did Magnus do this? Okay. And it's amazing. I mean, I did this yesterday, and I thought I went through it like really well. We had a 2-hour session for the first part, and now I'm asked to repeat the moves basically because I understood what's happening. But here I really have trouble finding the right moves. So it's really good that we have the review here. Okay, what's happening? Taking is obviously not a good idea because e4 is protected by the rook and the queen. So I think we still have to protect the pawn on e6, but I still think it would be nice if we somehow get the queen to the other side, because the pawn b5 is protected by the rook, and so that is quite alright. I think the best move here would be queen to d7. I take a look at the chat if someone has an idea here. No, it's all good. And yeah, then we just give it a try. It's not bad, otherwise Chessable would have given me a mistake, an error, but it was an alternative move, which means it's okay, but not the best move. And what else can I try here? Okay, if it's not d7, then it's c7, I think. Yep, let's see. And that was correct. So my question, of course, I hope I can read it here in the written instruction later on, is why is d7 not as good as c7? I don't know. Okay, so we just give it a try and just move on. And what has been played? King to h1. Slow move. So now I think I can double up on the e file to put pressure on the isolated pawns. That was correct. And now let's read. Okay, so c7. Magnus continues to regroup, following up on rook e5 earlier. Makes sense. It looks best if the rook is in front of the queen, maximizing the pressure on the weak pawns. King h1 was played. Wishy sits and waits, but he had a good alternative in rook d5. So instead of king h1, rook d5 would have been better. And I checked yesterday, and it would be like an evaluation change of 0.2. And yeah, for 0.2 it is, for me, as a very amateurish baby chess player with the rating lead chess with 750, like all equal, but I guess for the top players 0.2 is just a big number. Okay, so queen e7, that's our move here. Magnus has established the ideal setup with queen and rook, although it is still not clear how he should make progress now. Okay, We go to the next variation, and again I leave you with the position for a little while to make yourself comfortable. We already moved to a later part of the game as it said in the instruction. Okay, I remember what is the best move from yesterday because it was one of my learnings. Yesterday I had two learnings. One was again to free up a file to prevent the king going to the promotion square, and the other one was kings into action. So king into action is a move here, but first read through it. We move to a later part of the game. The queens have been exchanged and Anand has given up his doubled e-pawns for the d-pawn in order to simplify the position and try to hold the rook ending. In this hypothetical position, White has just moved his rook from d6 to d5. Can you show why this is an error? I think because now we can bring in the king into action. So let's move the king. And that was correct. That was the first move. And the second move was bringing it even further to the rook. Correct. And now I have to think because I don't remember. What was the next best thing? It was also again attacking the rook with the king. But wait. What happened if he plays rook c8 and then g8 and attacking the pawn on g6? So was there something else what I needed to play? Was it d7? Okay, I think, yeah, d7 here might be good. I see it as a threat if he comes with the rook to c8 and then starting to attack the pawn on g6. So let's take a look what happens. I think king d7 would be a good move, but on the other hand it would bring the king away from the center, and in the endgame he is always good in the center, the king, ready to go where the action is. So I tend to go to d6 instead of d7 because it also attacks the rook, but this here then, and how is it defended? Well, I could just move over with the king, with the rook here. So yeah, I'm playing d6. And d6 was correct. Now he comes to the rook to c8. And now it's pretty easy. I didn't see it yesterday, and I also see it only now. It can be defended by, or what can be defended? Rook g8 and then attacking g6. It was bringing the king over to e5. Yes, e5 is correct. It's being attacked, and now I just move over to f5. I guess that was the correct one here. Yes. Okay, let's read what happened here. Okay, it was an error because king f7. The rook is not doing much on the 5th rank, while now black's king can approach and centralize. So what happened? What we just played, king c3, king e6, rook c5, king d6, rook c8, king e5, rook e8 check, and king f5, what we just did. Black has improved his king position a lot, giving him a decisive advantage. Okay, to me it looked like nothing before, but now when you take a look at it, it's like looking way better only because of the king position to me. Okay, and we go to the next variation, and again I'll leave you a little with the position to see what's going on before I start explaining and trying to find my best move. Okay, so here what do we have? We now have connected passed pawns, trouble for black big time, and we have double pawn for black, we have another isolated pawn, and from start it doesn't look good for black. But I remember yesterday's session and I still remember it. So let's read what we have. Later on the game, Magnus has made progress advancing on the king side, but it came at the cost of his queen side pawns. Here, however, Wishy has just made the decisive mistake by playing rook a4. How can black now secure the win? And this is what I gave away earlier on. He is going to play h3, forcing a take by the pawn, and with that move we just cut off the white king of the promotion square of f1, so we can just move through with the pawn, and yeah, it would be defended by the king, so we would be a king up. That's funny. We would be a rook up. So let's see if I remembered that correct and if my explanations were correct. And if I remember also correct, the pawns here are just basically an advantage for black because it protects the black king from being checked by the white rook. Let's go. That's correct. And now we should start. Ah, no, there was a rook move in between. And that was G6, rook G6. Yes, that was the in-between move before we can start marching up with the pawn on the f file. So let's go. Yes, that's correct. Here he starts moving, but it's too late. We win the race. Yes, correct. So let's read what happened here. h3 exclamation mark, very good move. By giving up his h pawn, the f pawn becomes a passer of decisive strength. G takes h3. Rook goes g6. The rook keeps white's pawn in checks and white's king locked up on the h file. So that yesterday was a revelation for me. I really didn't have that in my arsenal of weapons to just fixing the white's king on the h file. Okay. c4 and f3. Now the f pawn is too fast. It is fascinating to see that the position would be a draw without the b and the c pawns. In this case, white would just give checks and black king has no place to hide. So this is a super endgame example for me to really learn. And I hope it's also good for you. And I think we can also look again at the video where Magnus explains everything. It's very instructional and it can't hurt to watch it again. So, but before we do that, we take a look at the next variation and the last variation here. And yeah, just taking a quick look at chat again. So whenever you have a question, Juica is there to ask, of course. And yeah, feel free. So we are going into the position here and start by reading again the instruction. So let's go back to the position before Anand played the losing rook a4. This is a very hard exercise. What should white have played instead? It turns out that there was only one move that kept the draw. Okay, and I remember that it is a race who goes to the what's it called again? The promotion rank first, and that's why the pawn to b4 is the best move, because there's basically just not enough time for black to stop that then. So let's go. Yes, that's correct. And now I just take, and I still have enough time. Otherwise, the rook would take. Was that correct? Can I, or shall I just move through? I don't remember anymore correctly. So I think it was just starting to run. Yes. Ah, it was incorrect. Yes, first take. Okay. So first take, otherwise it would look really bad. Yes, yes. I'm sorry. Okay. So it would be take. And now we are ready to run. Yes. This comes in now. And what do we have? What was the next best move for white here? I think it was the rook, and then giving check to black's king. So I guess it was c7. Yeah, and I said I don't remember if it's the Philidor or the other one, but there's also this pattern where you just from above give always check to the king or attack the pawn. Yeah, and so what's the other one called? Philidor and the Lucina position. Yeah, yeah. Right. So I'm going rook c7 now. And it's an alternative move. So what else to play before that then? I take a look at chat, if chat has a choice here. Nope. Okay, then I just continue. Okay, and I think it was is it c8? But it doesn't matter if it's c8 or c7. Does it? Okay, of course, if I bring up the rook, then we would exchange. Can I then stop the pawn from promoting? So, zack, take, zack, take, zack, zack, promotion, and I guess that's not the best way to do it. So, what was it? Hint. Yeah, it was a rook move, and it was for sure. Is it then c8? Let's check. Yes, it is c8. But I don't understand what's the difference between c8 and c7 here. Okay, so check and king here. And now I am the one to check, I guess. Check. Yes, correct. And now it is oh, that's so interesting. It's not checking again. This is so interesting because this is harder than I thought. I thought reviews quickly done because I remember everything from yesterday, but I obviously don't. Okay, what happens if I check again? he could take. If he takes, I can check again, check. And then I could start running. So is that the correct move for white? I guess it is. So I will just try to check again. No, it's incorrect. Okay, it's really the pawn. Study this move. So take, take. What happens if he starts to go f2? Then I think I could just go g2 with the king. Yeah, so that was the better move, I think. All right. Yeah, right. Okay, so next, put in the correct move. Yes, and now the king to g2. It's again incorrect. It's moving as I can take. Yeah. No, I'm doing this too fast now. Okay, so yeah, it's now running through, and here we go. It's next move, running. Now the king came in, and now it's my turn with the king. Is it? He can promote easy, so king g2, check, take. He cannot take, but hold on, I'm in check then. So it's g2, promote, king, double attack. I need to go away, so that's not the best move. So what to do here? What was it? Let's take a look here. Nope. Okay, so for me that's really tough. I never expected it to be that tough, because yesterday that was better. So what is now the best move for white here? If I move b7, then he can promote. If he promotes, I'll take the queen. He goes to take the rook, and is a rook up, and I cannot promote because it's easy for him to get it. So that's not the best move. If I take now, same thing. I'm really stuck. Interesting. So, but if I move the pawn to b7 now, yeah, he could go b2, I could check, and he could hide behind here. What am I? I take a hint. Yeah, and it's really going with the pawn. So now that hold on, I still need to think. So if I now promote, I take with the rook, and he can promote later on. So I still promote to the king, and it's incorrect, as I said. Yes, it is checking the earlier idea with the continue check. So white can keep checking and attack the f pawn. Okay. Oh, that was stupid. So of course b8 check doesn't work, because, as I said, he would be promoting to queen. So that was not the best move. Okay, so here it needs to be check. And that is the end of the variation. And I need to go through this all the way, because I really didn't get it, as you saw. So let's go. So the first move here was, or go back all the way. Here we started. So it's a very hard exercise. What should white have played instead? So it is b4, exclamation mark. Advancing his own queenside pawns is crucial. We will see the difference to the game continuation a couple of moves later. Okay, so it is h3. Then we have here this one, freeing it up for the black rook and getting this away. So b5, f3. Okay, then so far it's the same. Now white has a resource that wouldn't have worked in the same position with rook a4 instead of b4. Okay, but this was played, of course, rook to c8, intending to check black's king and attack the f-pawn from behind. Yes. So, rook g2 check, king h1. This was all good. I got that. Then rook e2, making way. This sets up a mechanism of playing f2, followed by rook e1, check, and queening the pawn. Also, in some cases, black's king can take shelter against the checks behind the rook. Okay, so what else? Rook e8, check, king d2, and here I was lost. So rook f8, instead of checking, it is now attacking the pawn. f2, advancing, and here exclamation mark b6. In the same position with the pawn further back, this would have been one for black. But now the b pawn gives white sufficient counterplay. King e1, b7, just keep on running. Rook b2, and now rook e8, and yeah, it's a how can we say it, an eternal game back and forth, I believe. So white can keep checking and attacking the f-pawn. Of course, what we saw, my mistake, didn't work. Okay. So that was tough, and I'm so happy that I have a review of this in 3 hours and 30 minutes. So I need to do this tomorrow again, of course, to understand what was happening. Okay, so let's go into the learning for today. This was so far only the reviewing of yesterday. And we go into the course and exit here. And we go to learn. Okay, you see we covered 42% of the course so far, and we have still 2 variations left in the game. Yeah, and let's go. One final accurate move is required for black to win. What would you choose? Of course, chat, think with me and write your best move into the chat. Let me find it. So, black to play. What is the best move for black here? If I promote, it's bad because he goes rook f8 and giving me a, is it skewer? I don't really remember the differences here again if the check king has to go. Okay, so, or the higher piece has to go out of the way. So, what else? I obviously still like to have the rook on the G file to keep the king, white's king, away from the promotion square f1. But it doesn't have to stay on. I have crazy ideas. G8, attacking the rook. Then I would have space to start running with the... but it doesn't make sense at all, sorry. It would just be the same. So it was just take, promoting, he goes back to f8, and I have the same as before. So... king move. King f3. Then he has two ways to check me, either f8 or a3. And then he could always put me into check. I have to hide behind the pawn. So how can I prevent him from checking me? Someone in chat? Let's see. Nope. Okay. What happens with the rook g3? Very bad move. I'll be put into check. I have to go out of the way, and there is only leaving my rook undefended. So that's a bad move. Then rook g5. If he now checks me, I could go. And this is probably so obvious, and I know Jurica is in chat. He is taking a look at the position, and I'm pretty sure he will know what to do and will probably say, Jan, it's obvious, just do the right move. But for me, it's not obvious. So I really don't know, and I will take the hint. I took a long time thinking now. I will try it again. So going through all the moves. F1 is bad because of rook f8 check, and I lose my promoted queen. So that is bad. Then king moves. So king f3, I would be put into check by either f8 or a3. Then I can start running with the king. If I go to e2, it's check on a2 or e8. So yeah, just doesn't work. So I would be always in check. Okay, what up with the rook? What's happening here? So the rook's task is to prevent white's king from going right next to the promotion square, f1, and what happens if I play g1? So rook g1 would no. I would also always had check from the white's king, white's rook. So I don't know. I take a final look at chat if anybody is writing anything. Nope. And I'm going to take a look at the hint. Which piece to move? It is a rook move. Okay, so what to do? rook f6. Now the king coming in on g2. King to e3. And then he probably brings in the rook to a2. Double attack on the pawn. I need to bring back, oh well, I still have the king here, but I cannot go anywhere else with him. I can go back to, no, I cannot go back to f3. Not worth it. No, I don't see it. I just give it a try. Thought of it, but I cannot find it. Okay. Hold on. Okay, so let's go through all this now. Okay, so it was rook g1. This guarantees the promotion of the f2 pawn. Of course, you should avoid f1. Yeah, I saw that. That's cool. And it should be noted that f1 to the knight also wins for black, but promoting it to a knight seems needlessly complicated when instead you can just force white to go up rook for the... Okay, so here I really like to go through all my variations that I had, and I'll click on the analysis board for that, because I really like to see what's happening here. Can you see that correct? Yes, you can. So I'm starting now. Okay, so when I play g1 and he plays check, I need to go away. Suggested move is king e3. Now I'm... okay, I think I can run away with the king, but does this work? So I go check, king d4 now, and now, yeah, now he can hide. If I just go rook f8, then he can promote, of course. Take, take, I'm a rook up. Alright, so he cannot eternally check me. Yes. So that was nice and probably not too hard to find, but I didn't see that. So, okay, but good to know. Is there anything else I came up with? So what happens if I play this one here? Yeah, the only move preventing it really is this. Okay, going through it again. So this would be the move to prevent it. Now it's... yeah, no chance. Check. Now what happens if I go here? Basically same thing. Yeah, I cannot stop it from promoting. Okay, so I was on the right track, but I couldn't find the continuation of how to hide my king. So, yeah, this is something where I would have been really angry afterwards if this would have happened to me, because I just wouldn't have played that one. Okay, back to the original here, and it's going back here, and yep, that's the one. We need to go to full picture, and we're back again. Okay, so that was the variation here, and we go to the next variation. So need to remember that. All right. So one final accurate move. Chessable asks me to repeat my moves here, and it says yes, that was correct. We already went through this, so we go to the next variation. Okay, and actually, this is the full game now. Okay, so let's go through the full game. What was played? e4, e5, nf3, nc6, bishop b5, nf6. I have no clear idea what this opening is called. So probably king's pawn opening something, I don't know. d3, bishop c5, c3, and yeah, short castling, rook e8, rook e1, a6. I believe that's all theory for everyone here except for me. Okay, and we go to the first comment actually. This is reminiscent of the Breyer variation. Lovely, never heard of it before. Okay, so let's see what's happening here. Okay, 3, 6, b4, 5, bishop takes, take, d3. Okay, so here Magnus, white is trying to exchange some pieces. There is no advantage for him, so he's trying to avoid losing and just make a draw. Okay, so this has been played. Okay. Magnus, this was Vichy's first small mistake in the game. I can now take on e3, inflicting doubled pawns. Yes. And with the minor pieces gone, white's dynamic potential is very limited. Objectively, it's well within the range of a draw, but the doubled pawns give me something to play for. Yes. Okay, so bishop takes e3, f takes e3, queen e7. Okay, now we're coming to the position where we started having our first own what is the best move guesses. Okay, so queen e7. Magnus says this was the key moment of the game. I could have played queen e6, exchanging queens, exchanging off more pieces into a clearly drawn ending, which would have made sense in the match situation. I had just taken the lead by winning the previous game, and Vichy was apparently not in a fighting mood. But instead I chose to keep some imbalance on the board and play on. Okay. So he played rook f1 instead. I mean, Vichy did. c5, king h2, c4, d4, rook a1, and queen b7. And this was the first variation that we had, where I was asked to play the queen to b7. So I just take a quick look. This is the explanations we already went through. So I have a question for chat. Let's see if there's somebody in. And we should have one in YouTube. So the question is, do you like to see the video of Magnus' explanations, or shall we just skip that because we saw it yesterday in part 1? Oh, that scared away the viewer. He's gone. Oh my goodness. Okay, so then I'd say we skip the video for today. And everyone who's watching now, please take a look at part 1 because there the full video is shown. And we just go ahead in the course. Okay. So I click on skip here and go straight to the but here we have something. Did we take a look at all that? Yes, we did. It was here, then the rook g1, and he resigned. And here Vichy resigned, a very tough loss, but putting up a good defense for a dozen of moves. Okay, so I'm interested to do the review tomorrow by myself to find all these moves again, but it is very good practice, so it gets into memory. Okay, so now we are going into a different game. It's called Magnus Carlsen versus Severin Papa. And let's see what's happening here. So Magnus, playing white, enjoys a small advantage in this position. This is based on the pawn structure, seeing that his pawn majority on the queen side, pawn majority on the queen side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does this already count to the queen side? I mean, the queen side would be here for me. The d file would be dividing it. So basically he has 4 pawns. So it's not really a majority, but I guess that pawn, the e4 pawn, also counts. That's probably correct. Okay, so this is based on the pawn. Here comes the explanation. This is based on the pawn structure, seeing that his pawn majority on the queen side is healthy, while black's double g pawn hampers the king side majority. White has realistic long-term chances to create a passed pawn, while black is not able to do the same with his majority. 3, 2. Of course, this is not a decisive factor, but the reason why white is pressing. Now, what to play in the actual position on the board. Magnus played a classy move that improves his position. What did he play? Okay, as you all know by now, I don't like endgames at all because they are so difficult to me, and it always takes me a lot of time and then I make the wrong move. But I think I'm getting the hang of it, at least developing ideas, and so I'm, as always, giving it my best try, and will now start thinking a little bit, and of course will let you know what I'm thinking, and yeah, let's go. So, what to play? Usually, if I see that I have an advantage with pawns, I try to exchange pieces, so the pieces cannot interfere in my pawn advantage. So take. Yeah, if I take with the queen, he would probably take with the pawn to get a better pawn structure. Then if I take with the rook, doesn't make sense because he takes that, so that's not a good idea. So I cannot bring the king closer. I don't like to move my pawns on the G and H rank file, sorry. So those are protections for my king. This is super, super difficult. Queen e1 would make him move the queen, but is there some advantage or disadvantage to that? No. Pushing pawns. Only pawn that can be moved, well, at least to me, kind of okay, would be d4. But I really would like to get rid of the rook situation, the queen situation here, so I could bring in my king. So if I take again with the queen, exchanging them, I think he would move, he would take with the pawn. If he takes with the pawn, I can move over with my king. But would that make sense, because I already have the majority on the queen side? Yeah, I still think this is the Well, basically it's the only idea I have, so that's the one I'm going to pursue, and it's taking the queen exchanging. So let's see. Chat. Anybody an idea in chat? Nope. Okay, so again, you're invited. If you have ideas, just write it into chat and we'll try if that works. So here, my move again is taking with the queen, and Chessable will let me know if it's wrong or not. So let's go. And it's an alternative. It doesn't say it's bad, but there's a better move. Okay, so my other idea was d4, advancing with the pawns. If I do that, if he starts exchanging, it's not a problem for me, I think. So yeah, my next move would be d4 here. Are there any threats by him? Well, he can move his... Hold on. He takes with the queen. I retake. Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. So d4 is still okay, I think. Yes, d4. Again, checking chat. Nope. So it's d4. Also an alternative move, not the best. What else? Queen e1 would be my next move I'd play here, because it would be attacking his queen. And it would prepare d4 and e5. No clue if that is okay. But yeah. One more thing would be queen f3. And if he doesn't do the exchanges, then I could go e5 and then... No, I cannot. Yeah, so e1 is my next move. Queen e1. Okay. Let's check queen e1. And that is incorrect now, finally. Oh my. Okay, so let's start reading. Okay, your move is a4. This is a useful move to stop b5 and prepare further space gains on the queen side. A pawn structure with white pawns on a4 and b4 versus black pawn on b6 offers white more chances to make progress compared to situation with the black pawn on b5. A pawn on b5 would be more or less okay. A pawn on b5 would more or less stop ideas like a4 or c4, and therefore helps black to compensate for the worse pawn structure on this side of the board. White prevents this idea with a4 and only later considers further action. Don't rush. And white won. I still have to think of that. Okay, so if I play this, well, he cannot get over with the queen right away. And I really would like to know how this continues then. What are the best moves? So I'm going to go to the analysis board again, checking if you guys can see it. Yes, you can. And we start right away. Okay. So I play a4, and the computer says it gives black the advantage. So that's really strange here. So I believe the Stockfish 14 is not as good as Magnus. So, but still, let's see what this would be. Or can I just stock that 15? Ah, now it's equal. Okay. Stockfish step 16, 17, 18, 19. And now it's an advantage. Okay, so I shouldn't play with Stockfish on 14 on Stockfish depth. Okay. Now it's an advantage already. Here we go. Okay, so now it's an advantage, so I leave it as is. Okay, so what's the next move? Queen f2. Check. Yup. Rook takes f2. And we have g4 now. Okay. And now, as I said, exchanging the pieces. So, alright, I understand why this happens. This is all okay, and we can go back to our main course here. That's it. Alright. So, this was good, and then we can go next. It still is giving me the training by repeating the best move here, and that is this one. We read it, it's all good, and we go to the next variation. This time it's Magnus versus Lok van Veli, 2008, and to take or not to take, that is the question. Magnus has the option to capture or to push the pawn forward with f5. What is the best move? So I need to first take a look at the position. It's here, this one. So capture or push the pawn forward. So capture e5 or just moving forward to f5. Let's see what's happening here. So my first initial idea is taking is not so nice because it creates pawn islands. It creates a double pawn on the e-file, and that's the first reason why I wouldn't take. If I move forward, I could just retreat with the bishop and put my other pawn on e4, having passed pawns and not passed pawns, but I would have a passed pawn on f5 and would have it protected by a friendly pawn on e4. So that is my best guess from my first intuition. Now, how's the old saying? If you find a good move, take a look for a better move. So, what up if I take? Sorry, guys. If I take, I create space for my king, so it could come in to d4. Is that important? The answer is no, it's not. Yeah, so I explained why I would move f5 instead of taking, but as this is a course with lots of surprises, I believe e5 is correct out of some strange idea. Again, taking a look at chat, Maybe someone puts in a move. No. And I just go and see what's happening. So I do this, and it was correct. And congratulations, I've completed my daily goal. 1 hour. I set it up in Chessable that I'd like to train 1 hour per day on Chessable, and it motivates a lot to see that I made it. Okay, so now reading the instruction here. This move is winning, but this is not a totally obvious assessment. On the other hand, however, capturing on e5 is clearly wrong, as black has a fortress. After take, it's bishop e6, and there's no way for white's king to enter the position. Yeah, black here. Cannot go there. This is also taken. We have the white bishop. So it was a good intuition, but I didn't take a look at black's response. I was just thinking of creating the pawn islands and the double pawns, but not of creating the fortress. My bad. Sorry. Okay, so and you always have to watch out for black creating a passed pawn on the queen side. This is just a draw, so pushing forward is preferable. The engines also show that 39, bishop g6, wins, but this is not a very human solution to the problem. Okay, then that's 100% nothing for me. Okay, so I got the right move, but not out of the right reasons, and it was 50-50 anyway. Okay, so we go to the next variation. And here it is Magnus Carlsen versus Shakhriyar Mamedyarov in 2012. And Magnus has some advantage in the endgame. Before I read, I take a look at myself. So we have 2 kings, which is always important, very funny. We have 2 bishops, bishops on the same color, 2 knights, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's good. We have 3 pawn islands. We have 1 isolated pawn here. Okay, so Magnus has some advantage in the endgame based on the more active pieces and black's slightly loose pawn structure. Yeah. Often having the pawns on the starting squares is best in terms of weaknesses. Here we see that black is not able to reach white's pawns, while the advanced black pawns may be attacked soon. Okay. These general considerations are helpful, but in fact only one move gives white real winning chances. What did Magnus play in this position? First thing would maybe knight c5, attacking the pawn on a6. Could just advance. So he's on a5. What can I do? I can go knight b7, attacking the bishop and the pawn. So he has to go to bishop c7. Ah. Okay, if he does that, I could go pawn d6, attacking the bishop. He needs to go to d8, and there I can take. So basically that's the move I would do. Is that correct? Is that correct? Let's do it again. So I play knight to c5, attacking the pawn on a6. He brings it up a step forward, so it's on h5. I will go knight b7, attacking both the pawn and the bishop. He goes back to c7 to defend the pawn. I bring up the pawn, which is protected by the knight. He has no way to defend the pawn on a5. But what happens if I play knight c5 attacking, and he takes and I take? After that, he can just take my pawn on d5. I retake, and he takes with the knight. So that's not the best way to go. And what else? What do we have? I believe it's a slow pawn move somehow. What happens if I take first with the pawn? So I take the pawn on c6, take. He has to retake with the knight. And now I attack the pawn. It is c5. He goes a step forward. But now he can protect by going with the knight to b8. Okay. And if he does that, I still have the knight on c5, so there's no option for my bishop to go to a7 attacking the knight. Okay. How about h4? h4 still leaves the pawn, so it's c6 takes d5. I retake, then we have the retake with the knight. Then my bishop is in danger. I don't like to lose that in this position. So again, I have many ideas, but not really a decisive one where I think, well, this is it. So I think it must have something to do with the d5 pawn, because he's under double attack. I cannot counter attack. So probably the best move here is just to take the pawn on c6. Do we have someone in the chat? I'm just chatting here myself, so yeah, let's go. Yeah, I just move and take. Let's see. And it is incorrect. And here we have this one. Why? Let's go. So your move is bishop c5 exclamation mark. The only move to fight for the win. Magnus forces the bishop trade and invades with the knight to attack the a6 pawn. So the a6 pawn was kind of correct, but again, I don't really get it here, so I will ask the engine. So yeah, it says all right, and so I start attacking. He takes, I take, and now C takes d5, yes. Now my knight takes a5. Now why doesn't he take? Because, yeah, why doesn't he take again? So it's knight c8 now. Knight c8 attacking both. So what happens if he takes? Take. It's well, not different than before. But what's now up? King e3. Starting to attack. No way to defend it. Ah, that's it. King e6. Bringing it in. Now we have the double attack. Alright. King f5. King f5. King f5. Jan. King f5. Okay. Knight takes this one, and now I have two very nice pawns running through. Okay, so that was alright. And what takes place if I... Okay, so again, this takes, bishop takes, and now it's white's move, taking again, and now he takes, I take, and I just move this one. Okay, this is bad. So anyway, of course, the key here is taking the a6 pawn, having the majority, and then creating a passed pawn and running through. Okay, but why do I only get this if I move the bishop? Because the bishop is then not protecting anymore. I mean, cannot protect what I earlier on calculated. So the question here again is, what happens if he doesn't take? What if, well, if he just, well, let's guess. So we just move it here. Engine immediately goes to 2.3. As now I have knight a5. Okay, double attack on our side now. So now he says bishop c7, attacking that one. But why can't I just take? What happens here? Take. It's even worse. Bishop e7. Take. Okay, king needs to retake. Now it's my turn. I have a passed pawn. But wait, was there a mistake? Yes. So taking would be really bad. Now it's knight. Yeah, of course, it's a fork. My fault, of course. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I believe, it's a matter of getting rid of the defender, more or less. So, okay, that's cool. Can we take this and again full screen? Okay. And yeah, we also just got rid of that one. Okay. And its next best move is the bishop. And then we take here, and now we take the one, and the explanation goes like this. At this point, engines point out 33a5 as the toughest defense, but allowing for 34d6 is not a very human decision again. So white's winning chances are still very high in this scenario. Knight takes a6, that's what we had. This ending is winning for white. b5 is very weak and likely to fall, as are the e-pawns after a possible capture on e4. Okay, so that one was also good, and I also understood it. I just need to remember it, and that's why Chessable has the spaced repetition. Okay, we go to the next variation, and then we are almost through for today. So black has just played 32 rook e6. Okay, to trade or not to trade, that is the question. Let's check. What do we have here? We have one rook each. We have a bishop for white and a knight for white. Black has, in quotation marks, only 2 knights. We have 2, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5 pawns. What does it look like? We have 3 islands. We have 2 islands. Do we have a passed pawn? No. So to me, king safety also okay. So just for the reason that well, but it's white's pawns are better for the center. So I think the position is kind of equal here. But again, the question is take or not take. So my first idea is if I take, he has to create an isolated pawn, which is always bad. And that's my first reason why I would take. Now taking a deeper look at the position. Okay, if I not take, I will have to defend it or move away. So what are the moves here? Defender moves is e5. What happens if I play e5? e5 opens the bishop for a discovery attack on the king. So he cannot attack my pawn on f4 right away by going his pawn g5. Can he move out of the way later? But that would give me a tempo. So if I go e5, he takes, I take, then he probably stops it with the knight to d7, but still I don't take. I this take. Yeah, I think taking is best, because if I take, he has to take, gets the isolated pawn, and how can I attack that one later on? Here. Okay, and here I really lack of thinking it all the way through, and as it's late, I tend to just get this over with, and I think taking is the best option just because the isolated pawn. Let's take a look into chat. So, chat, what is your best move here? And don't be afraid if it's wrong. I do wrong moves all the time, which doesn't mean that it's good. It's just motivation to learn with us here. Yeah, so I just go and take. And it's alternative, so it's not taking. And then it's... I haven't thought of bringing the rook to another place if I don't take. I just thought of defending it by e5. And I still think e5 is a nice move, but do I have a better move with the rook? No, I don't think so. So e5 is my next move here. Let's go. And also an alternative. So at least I didn't do a bad move yet. So no mistake, just not best moves. So what else? Now it must be putting the rook to another place. So let's check the possible moves. It is d8. And d8, what does it do? Oh, take a look at this knight. So his knight is kind of restricted, cannot go to a4, c4 and d5. And if I go to d8 and next attack him on b8, then he needs to go to d7. If he's on d7, I can go to b7, and he needs to defend it with the rook. Otherwise, he would lose his pawn on f7. So, can he defend it with the rook? Let's check this again. It is my rook d8. And then I always never think of the next move. I just have my own plan in mind. So what would be his next move if I play d8? The threat obviously is to go b8, attacking the knight. So he cannot move the knight away. So it's probably another move here for doing that. Oh. Okay. I really don't know, but I will try and I will go d8. And this is what I sometimes play if I don't have enough time or if I'm tired of thinking. I play this guess chess, like I guess that's the best move, let's see what it is, without doing the full calculation. And that's obviously very bad, but again, it's late, I'm tired, and I'm just going d8 because it seems to be nice. And it is correct. And the reason it is correct is, after taking on e6, white would be slightly better, but avoiding the trade on e6 puts more pressure on black. The rook on e6 is not ideally placed and might be attacked with moves like f5 or a knight tour via e2 and d2. Okay, d4, sorry. Playing 33 rook d8 is the better practical choice, as it gives black more chances to go wrong. This in particular applies if time is a factor. Being low on time, black would like the trade, making the coming decisions easier to make. Okay. So the reason is making it harder for black, and that's by not exchanging. Okay, I can live with that one. Then we have the final variation and the final move we need to find. Very exciting. Okay, So it's against Fabiano Caruana in 2018, and Caruana has just played f5, f5, okay. But this runs into a big problem. What problem is it? Okay, before I start disturbing you with my ideas, I leave you with the position a little, so you can think for yourself. Of course, I also started thinking, but if I take, he retakes with the bishop problem. No, bishop wouldn't be good because he has double pawns. So he would take with the... Well, in this case, would it make sense to take with the bishop because the rook is attacked? And then I had a free bishop on b2, but it should be worse for black. So what's the disadvantage here now? What made it worse? So he was earlier on either on f6 or on f7. So he has a bad pawn now on g6. Can we exploit that somehow? Of course, we could go with the rook to h1 and then doing a rook lift maybe. But then our pawn on b2, sorry again, the pawn on b2 would be just be taken. So can I defend this somehow? What can I do? It's a big problem, so it must be something obvious. What also happened is the pawn on the g5 is also bad. So what happens if I just go pawn f4? He would need to take. I take with the king. Okay, it's tuck, tuck, tuck. Then he probably takes with this. I take, he takes. Okay, I go there and then I can take his... Yeah, probably that's it. So I think I'm able to capture his pawn on g6 by going through the king. But that's probably just wishful thinking. I still need to think again. So I go f4. He takes, I take with the king. Okay. Then he probably takes. I go on g5 with my king, and he cannot protect it now. Going back with the bishop. Well, of course, do we have the bishop there already? Take. No, he can of course protect it by going with the bishop to f5. But then I can just go g4 with my pawn, pushing the bishop away. Take. But this all doesn't make sense because it would be still equal, I think. But still, I think that f4 is the best move, but I just don't know the continuation here. Let's again take a quick look here in chat. Nope. So yeah, I just go and see what it is. Is it f4? Let's see. It's incorrect. No. Oh, I haven't looked at b3 at all. So you move b3, all of a sudden the count of available squares for the b4 rook drops to 0. Huh? So Caruana played f5. What does that have to do with the rook? All of a sudden the count of available squares for the b4 rook drops to 0. Ah, now I get it. So I should have made space for the rook instead of putting the pawn on b5, f5. Okay, so what would have been the best moves then? All of a sudden, the count of squares for the b4 rook drops to 0. Surprisingly, black is completely lost as the rook is trapped. So I go back, and what should I have done here? Or rook to b3 probably is good. So he cannot go to these ones here. So can he put me in check? No. Yeah, so probably this is not good. This is not good. Yeah, I could also go to c4. Yeah, so c4, b3. Let's check with the engine if that would be correct. Let's see what it says. Funny, I didn't even take a single look at that. Okay, here it's white to move. It says b3, and I really cannot I cannot go back because the position was not given in Chessable before that. Can I do this here? No, I cannot go back. Okay, so but still c4 of course gives black enough squares to retreat to. Okay, so next and f5, but I don't know what problem is this. Okay, I move this one. Ah, now it continues. Okay, we're not done yet. Okay, what problem is this? Take. And now I should be able to attack. And that would be this one here. Yes. And now I can bring up the pawn, I think, and then give it the final blow, as we say. Yes, congratulations, you finished the course. The Magnus Touch Endgame. Get the full course if I'd like to. Okay, but what I really like to do is showing the game where Magnus explained everything. I mean, it was more or less about Viswanathan Anand against Magnus Carlsen, and it has a nice explanation. We took a look at it yesterday, but still, I'd like to take a look at the video. So, yeah, we see that one. Let's go. Oh, what time is it? Well, it's late. So we actually don't have to take a look at that one again, but I just can tell you please move to part 1 of the series here, part 1 of Magnus Carlsen free Endgame lesson, and now we're through with the course. I have to do a little review of it. And yesterday I found out that the variations here and the video that is coming with it are not really in sync. Yeah, like you have to stop at the correct moment, so you know,
So in
okay,
continuing
I'm not
with
ahead
the
of the text.
winning equal
But this
endgames
is
or pressing
just
in
a matter
seemingly equal
of
endgames theme, this is probably your best known example. World Championship 2013, where you
my
beat
way of
Vichy
learning
Hannen
is
to
Chessable.
take the
I'd
World
like to read
Championship.
the
And
text first and
this
then
was
take
game
a look
6
at
right
that
after you
video
won
part.
game 5.
But others probably only go
That
through
is
the text
true.
or only watch the video, and that
Always a
works
pleasant
perfectly
situation
fine.
to be in.
So I believe
Having
if
just
you know
won.
that, it's all good and no problem at all.
So he was
And
playing
I'm also
E4.
able to see, okay,
I was
I
playing
just
the
read
Berlin
this
back
part
then.
and I need to stop the video here, then
And
reading
I
the next
remember
part,
before each
continuing
black
the
game, I
video,
was just so
and so on and so on. So yeah, we don't have to watch the video right now.
He was not getting.
Go to part 1. I think everything is presented really well. For my level, it was kind of tough. I didn't get the moves, did lots of mistakes, but I think it's good to do mistakes because then you know it's not too easy for you. It was also not too hard because then I would guess every move wrong. Yeah. So for my level, I'm a 750 player on Lichess Classical. I think it was kind of really good training, yeah, for endgames, especially if I don't like endgames much, but I learned a lot and get ideas how to exploit the position to my advantage, even if it's just a slight advantage. And I really have to do the reviews, the spaced repetition. So yeah, if you take a look at my review situation, I'm more a Chessable course collector instead of a course finisher. Yeah, I have 373 positions in review from all the courses that I have, and yeah, I will for sure make sure, I mean, it's not too much, it's just 12 variations. I will go through them like 12 times, and it's not also just muscle memory, just moving the correct moves, but also remembering why. So when I do the reviews, I always think of why is that the best move and then do the move. Yeah, so this is for me a better learning experience, of course. Okay, so Magnus and everyone else involved in the course, thank you so much for giving us this free sample of the full course. I enjoyed it a lot. If we again take a look at it, hold on, can I go into the course now? No, I have nothing to do, review, learn, but I can click here, I can click on browse. So the course info is here. And the fun part is it had 2,953 words, 20 minutes of video. And to go through all of it and finding my own best moves, yeah, it took me 4 hours. And yeah, that doesn't mean it's bad that it took so long. It's just that I did it thoroughly and hopefully learned a lot from it. And I encourage everyone else, of course, to do so too. And yeah, that's basically it for today. I take a quick look here, final time. Thank you for watching, everyone, and wishing you a wonderful good night. Thank you, of course, Jurica, for being here. It just, yeah, would have been great, of course, if we would have questions by the viewers, but sometimes I think they're just shy chatting. And I remember when I asked, like, what is your best move? Immediately they were gone. So it doesn't hurt. It's just a learning experience for all of us together and a good chance. And thank you, Jurica, for doing this, of course, and wishing you a good night. And yeah, that's it for now, and see you at the next course, of course. Thank you and good night.